Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today, Melar Acquisition Corp. I just filed an 8K about extending their deadline, and there is a key number that tells us how much faith investors have. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. Basically, the company is trying to buy more time to find a business to merge with, and a lot of shareholders cashed out to get their money back. So Melar Acquisition Corp, like many special purpose acquisition companies or SPACs, had a deadline to find a company to combine with. This filing is about them getting an extension on that deadline. They held a shareholder meeting back on the 16th of June 2026. The original deal was to find a business to merge with or do some other kind of business combination by the 20th of June 2026. That was about 2 years after their initial public offering. Now, they needed shareholder approval to push that deadline back. They voted to amend their company rules to allow for monthly extensions. This means they can keep pushing the deadline out, 1 month at a time, all the way until the 20th of December 2026, or even sooner if their board decides. The vote itself shows us something interesting. Remember, SPACs need to find a merger target. When shareholders don't believe a good merger is likely, they often vote to get their money back. The vote to extend the deadline passed, but look at the against votes and the broken non-votes. A significant number of shareholders voted no, and many others didn't vote at all, which often means they are sitting on the sidelines. But here is the real kicker. Over 12 million shares were cashed out, meaning shareholders asked for their money back. They redeemed these shares for about $10.89 each, totaling nearly $131.5 million. This tells us that a large chunk of investors who bought into the IPO are not confident that Melar Acquisition Corp. I will find a good deal before their time runs out. After all those redemptions, the number of publicly held shares has dropped significantly, leaving only about 3.9 million shares left. This severely limits the amount of capital available for any future merger. They also voted to approve their independent auditor, Withum Smith Brown PC, for the upcoming year. This is a pretty standard vote, but it means the company is continuing its operations and financial reporting. This meeting was also a way for them to meet Nasdaq's requirement for an annual shareholder meeting. They had until December 2026 to hold this meeting. Finally, they also included amendments to their company documents in the exhibits, which is pretty standard for these kinds of filings. Looking at this filing, the big story is the shareholder confidence, or lack thereof. The fact that over $131 million was redeemed shows that many investors are not optimistic about Melar Acquisition Corp. Finding a suitable merger partner. This is a pretty common pattern with SPACs that struggle to find deals, and it often leads to a continued decline in value as the deadline approaches. For comparison, many SPACs that face massive redemptions like this end up either merging with less desirable targets or simply liquidating. When Kodak did a 1-for-20 reverse split in 2021, holders saw roughly a 40% additional drawdown over the following 90 days. A $1,000 position there became about $600. The risk I am watching is whether Melar Acquisition can find any deal at all with such a reduced public float and what that deal's valuation might be. What I am actually looking for is any news of a definitive merger agreement, but so far the redemptions speak louder than words. Oh, and the research tools I actually use are linked in the description. They help keep this channel going. That is my take. Stay decoded. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description.